Hello everybody and welcome to Gamer Couch. Let's have a look at the Insect Glaive together today. The weapon actually has an offset attack that a lot of hunters probably don't know about. Sadly, it's not mentioned anywhere, at least I couldn't find anything in the weapon guide or somewhere else. But this opens up a new playstyle for the Insect Glaive actually, and it's really fun. So when I see other hunters play with the Insect Glaive, I mostly see them using the playstyle where you are up in the air a lot. It's still viable, don't get me wrong, I just want to show you a different way. What's still very annoying about this playstyle is the fact that you can't chain the air attacks if you miss the last hit from the air attack. This will make you drop down and you have to jump back up again. I think this is very, it kind of stops the flow. Plus, there's still always the chance that the monster just hits you out of the air. So what could be a different way? In order to use the offset attack from the Insect Glaive, you need the red buff in the upper left corner. There are 3 buffs, red, white, and orange. And as you probably already know, you use your Insect in order to get these buffs. I still see a lot of hunters just sending out the Insect one by one. Please note that you can actually charge up and send the Insect as well. This is done by holding R2 and triangle. When you release, your Insect will actually attack through the monster. Like this, it's even possible for the Insect to gain all 3 buffs at once. This will actually save you a lot of time in the future and makes it easier for you to gain the buffs. Another way to gain these buffs and deal additional damage, you can attack with focused mode. This will make your Insect attack as well with each attack of you and immediately returning with a buff. This is somewhat mandatory for our playstyle because we want that additional damage and we will also want to keep the buffs up as much as possible. Now, how do we activate the offset attack? All you actually have to do is hold circle until you're charged up. There are 2 stages of the charge. Ideally, you always want to wait until the charge is in its 2nd stage. This also prevents you from being knocked back with most attacks from the monsters, that's why. And you want to deal additional damage, of course. What makes the offset really good is you can stay in this charged up stage and still walk around. You could even do a dodge roll. So if you feel like you're off with the timing, you just evade. You can actually attack while being charged up as well. But all you have to do is hold circle while you're doing all of this. Now, timing wise, you have to make sure that the first slash actually hits within the incoming attack. Let's have a closer look at the timing. When you release circle, there's a short moment where he turns the staff. So you gotta have in mind to release early enough when the attack is coming in, because you want the first slash to strike against the attack of the monster. Like I said, if you miss the timing, most of the times you won't get knocked back. What's really great about it is you can combine it with your triangle attacks. So let's say you're attacking with triangle, the attack is coming in, you release it. So let's say you're attacking with triangle, you hear an attack is coming in or you see an attack is coming in, you release circle at the right moment and go from there. Here's a great example of what I mean. Mitsutsune actually missed its attack, so we went through underneath, I guess. So we had an opening to attack with triangle. So mostly there's a 2nd attack following. We know this. So we can release circle at the right time to offset the 2nd incoming attack, which created, of course, an opening. Now with this playstyle, it can be a little tough on the controller. You don't want to hold L2 while holding circle as well the whole time. So you should definitely switch this in the settings to toggle on and off. Now if you're attacking with focus mode while holding circle, it can still be tricky if the monster is moving around. So what you really need to do is press L1 a lot of times to focus back the monster and center the camera to the monster again. You don't want to turn the camera manually with your right thumbstick. Now if you still prefer the flying playstyle, you should know that releasing circle also works from mid-air. So let's say you were up in the air and you're about to finish your combos. You've been holding circle in the air while doing everything. You could release it immediately when an attack is coming in and also trigger the offset. You can charge up circle in the air or on the ground before you go up, it doesn't matter. I think it's just worth mentioning for those hunters who would like to keep the old playstyle. But it's very hard to hit the timing anyway. Instead of chaining it with your triangle attacks, you could also wait for an attack to come in and then just offset to create an opening. If you really create an opening, it also gives you the opportunity to use Rising Spiral Slash, so yeah, there you go. In order to hit the timing, you really gotta know what's coming at you. Because you always have to keep in mind that you're turning the staff when you release, so you have to calculate that in. And you also have to calculate in the motion of the attack from the monster. So it can be tricky to open up like this. It's easier to attack with triangle and chain it into your regular attacks. Now there are some best combos to deal the most amount of damage, ideally. But at the beginning I wouldn't worry too much about it. At first you could start just using circle and try to hit some offsets. But other than that, I would just attack with triangle and then try to release circle at the right time. Even if you're not using the best combination to deal the most amount of damage, your damage output can still be very, very high as long as you attack with focus, triangle, release circle at the right times, use wounds to combine, but you get the gist of it. So the message here is to get the mechanics down first. Get used to the controls and your damage output will be crazy anyway. Numbers can get really, really crazy. To sum it up for you, first try to get down the mechanics and get used to the controls. At the beginning it's kind of tricky, so don't give up too early. Try to hit your offsets with incoming attacks to open up, or combine it with your triangle attacks. After a while, when you get the mechanics down and the controls are natural to you, you will see how easy the Insect Glaive can flow with this playstyle on the ground. Plus your damage is really high, as you could see. I really tried to keep the video short and slim. That's why I didn't go into that much detail with what the buffs do and what's the best combination to attack. My intention is to give you a recommendation for a different playstyle with the Insect Glaive and recommend you the offset attack because it's really, really great. That being said, no highlights of course. I got so much to do. I'm sorry, but yeah. I hope my audio quality is also better now. I got a different microphone and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. As of always, if you like my content, I'm grateful for all the support, comments, like and subscriptions. So thank you so much and I hope you will like my future content as well. That being said, have a nice day, smile a lot, enjoy the weather and happy hunting.